Askreddit thread. What subreddits eat newbies alive? I've mentioned this before, but I've tried to ask for advice 3 separate times on a couple of DIY type subs like r/woodworking. Anytime I've done so, I've been removed without a mod telling me I don't have enough knowledge to ask for advice. Mods like that are really handicapping any kind of growth to their subs. Now when I want help, I go to an actual site for that sort of thing. Edit, I should have mentioned, I'm not a beginner at this type of thing. That's what's frustrating. It was more, this is obvious to me, so you should know it kind of attitude. Did you tell him that your lack of knowledge is the fucking reason why you're asking for fucking advice in the first place? Let's see. Wow, this is a lot longer than I thought. r/guitar. Most of the basic questions asked are treated like someone trolling and are either given an actual answer or mercilessly shaming. I had to go on r/metal musicians just to get a glimpse on the reason someone needed a 7-string guitar. A large part of r/guitar are people who started playing guitar 2 months ago and have bought like 6 guitars since then. Easy rule of thumb with popular instruments like guitar is elitists and stuck-up people are generally huge noobs who just learned their first difficult piece and think they are king. Anyway, here's Wonderfall. r/roast me is pretty bad. I posted a picture there once and everyone was a total dick. I agree, r/toast me is so much better. People often post super random shit on r/fifth world problems and then get overwhelmed by the answers, but that's because it's not really about randomness. What? And don't even get me started on r/seventh world problems, because I have no idea what the fuck is going on there. You seem like you understand all these X world problem subreddits, and I've been hoping to find someone who does for some time. So I'd be very grateful if you could explain to me about them. Subreddit simulator, r/need advice. I got a 3-day ban just for answering someone's question that was a forbidden topic. Relationship advice. Again, I was just answering someone's question and got banned. I just unsubscribed from that subreddit. F those guys. r/Austin. Especially if you've just moved here. In our typical fashion, r/Portland sees that and raises you. Portland. Oh, I can only imagine that. You know, I'm subscribed to the subreddit for the city I live in. Very pleasant. r/cat standing up. Don't even think about posting anything besides cat in that sub. And there's always 1 or 2 comments that are downvoted to hell for no reason. On second thought, it's actually hilarious. r/cannibalism. Warning, warning. Stay away from r/politics for now, and maybe forever. Oh yeah, right now it's the whole anti Hillary Clinton and Trump circle jerk. Bernie lost? Oh, wait. Oh shit. I bet that's terrible. r/Askreddit, especially if you don't realize it's just a karma farm. r/ask historians. Don't even attempt a response until you have a full understanding of what is expected of answers, which usually takes about a year of lurking. It is an awesome subreddit and yields amazing results and insight with top-notch moderators, but don't think that you are part of a club unless you really know what you're talking about and cite your references. Oh yeah, that's true. This is a terrible subreddit for newcomers, but it's also a great subreddit. Edit, like a moron, I misspelled site with an S. I am changing it in the body, but I want to recognize the fact that I misspelled it like a moron. Edit 2, I've gotten a lot of the same comments and statements, so rather than one by one, I'll just put this here. The comment, a year of lurking, is intended as a light-hearted joke. My point is that people who comment on that sub need to be able to answer in the way that the rules outline. I love the sub and frequently spend time there learning stuff. and the moderators are awesome. Yes, I should eat shit and die because I misspelled sight and sight. And I'm perfectly happy with the acknowledgement of my mistake. People are so, like, on the internet, so stuck up about misspelling words or mispronouncing things. Like, I make videos for a living, and my Yu-Gi-Oh videos, I commonly have to read names that I've never seen before and that are intentionally difficult to pronounce, or have weird pronunciations. Oh, I can't say that word. I just can't say that word right now. Their names are pronounced weirdly, so I mispronounce words like all the time because it's really hard to read names for the first time. You sometimes have to look up names like in something that will tell you how to pronounce it, because a lot of names are not pronounced the way they're spelled. But the comment section of those videos, I usually get about 5 to 10 comments of people just berating me for being the dumbest person in the world for mispronouncing this thing that is so obviously an easy thing to pronounce. And if I was the one making the video, I'd be able to pronounce it no problem. It wouldn't be a big deal, because I mispronounce names sometimes, if the comments that mention the fact were halfway not insane. People get angry, they get really mad, and they are just so visceral in their comments. Like, oh hey, it's actually pronounced this way. I like the video besides that. No, it's always like, you are the worst piece of shit. You should die for mispronouncing this. So yeah, it's not that like the people, because people like to point out mistakes. It's that people are very angry when they point out the mistakes. Like, I can't believe you made that mistake. You literally ruined my day for mispronouncing a word, and I'm going to write that out. It's a funny thing. I've never gotten whatever. Basically, what all that boils down to is that it wouldn't be a big deal with the commenters talking about how I make mistakes if they weren't crazy about it. They always just overreact about it. If they politely point it out, I'd be like, oh, that's fine. I'll say it right next time. But nope, it's always, you are the dumbest person alive for saying that name wrong. And I was like, you guys have social problems. But there's so many people. I was like, am I the one who's crazy for not getting extremely upset when people mispronounce or spell things incorrectly? Because it seems there's a lot of people who jump on that. Like, this guy, he's talking about a whole bunch of people saying how he misspelled sight, and there's a whole bunch of people replying to him, and I bet they're going to get a lot of upvotes too. I want to say it's a vocal minority, but I think it's like it might be a majority of people who are bothered by that. I guess only a vocal minority of them get really angry about it, but a lot of people do care about that. r/Megatin isn't too bad, but there are a select few there that I've noticed will criticize you for which SMT game you prefer. I also find people tend to be high and mighty about which endings people achieve in their respective SMT playthroughs. I could be completely wrong, and there might be some long-running inside joke going on about certain games. I only joined the subreddit recently, so it's possible that I've missed something. I don't know what the hell that is. Megatin looks like it's a visual novel game or something. I don't know. Oh, Survivor game. I have seen r/soccer absolutely eat people alive. Ask a naive, easily searchable question, downvoted to hell. Comment with a dissenting opinion in an odd manner, downvoted to the face. Comment on a circle jerk with disdain, downvoted to hell. Over-enthusiastically participate in a circle jerk, downvoted to hell. Poorly worded sarcasm, downvoted to hell. Use /s for sarcasm that isn't sarcastic enough, downvoted to hell. This sounds like everything from r/anime too. I love the sub, but I have seen people destroyed for some pretty mundane things. Ultimately, it can be kind of funny, but shit, there is definitely a way of commenting that is accepted well, in a way that will leave you confused as hell and crying at a dumpster of downvotes. Oh man, if you have the wrong flair in a thread, then just be prepared to vote regardless of what you say. R/conservative. You have to be a very specific kind of conservative to comment there. One minor deviation from the narrative will be a deleted comment and usually a ban. Their mods even proactively ban users who frequently post on certain subs. So you might already be banned and not know it. No amount of question or disagreement is allowed. Wow. I got banned there for asking a user for a source for their irrational comment. Turns out that user posting the erroneous information was one of the mods. 3-day ban. Asked politely why I've been banned. When I leaned towards financial conservative and just wanted more information. Only response was a lifetime ban. Gee, thanks. You really won my vote. Just goes to show that safe spaces aren't exclusively associated with the left. The Donald is also very liberal with bans for the crime of having a different opinion. I got banned for saying that Germany is not a shithole completely overrun by Muslims. I fucking live in Germany. Southern strategy. Pretty much all of them, right? I think r/personal finance and r/relationships might blindside many who come there for advice because, by definition, they usually aren't among dozens of common responders. While those subreddits are based on the idea that they are about giving people helpful advice, the responses can be surprisingly single-minded and poisonously toned. R/personal finance. Yeah, I'm 18 years old. I have 100k in savings, no debt in the house. I will be able to retire. Will I be able to retire? And you would get the opposite response. I'm 50 and I have no 401k or appreciable savings. I have not finished paying off my house. Can I afford to quit my job, take out a equity loan against what little equity my house has, start my own business in underwater basket weaving, and still have enough left over to travel the world first class? No. No, you can't. Outrageous. This advice is awful. How dare you tell me I can't pursue my dreams? This subreddit is the worst. Our relationship's a nutshell. My boyfriend has been spending more time with his friends lately, and I feel break up with him now and burn his house down. Magic TCG is kind of already intimidating, but people there downvote like hell. We try to be welcoming to new players, but it often comes out as intimidating and shit. Pony Guy Yang can be a tough egg to crack. You know what? That reminds me of this post on r/Yu-Gi-Oh! Someone made a post who just happened to be a girl that she really enjoyed the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. And a whole bunch of people replied that she was the worst person ever, and they were just super mean for no reason. It was like, holy crap, you guys are literally the worst. And I recognize some of the usernames because I used to go on that subreddit all the time. Before this incident happened, they were just tearing into her big time. Just because, I want to say just because she was a girl. It had to have been that, because no girls play Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, I'm sure some do. But it's a very male-dominated card game. And I guess there's a whole bunch of angry nerds who just take out their frustration on the one girl who decides to post on. I don't remember the replies, but I know they were disgusting. It was like, you guys are literally the worst. There was a whole bunch of people too who replied, and they were all mean. And it just completely ruined the sub for me. I was like, I can't visit this sub regularly anymore. You guys are just crazy people. Literally just crazy. The things you guys were saying were just, there was no reason for it. No provocation. Provocation. I don't think that's the right word for it. There was no reason for them to say all the mean things they did. And yeah, I don't. I still go there because I have a Yu-Gi-Oh! Channel that does pretty well. And it accounts for like 20% of the income I make. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a kind of a big part of my life. But I don't frequent the sub very often like I used to. Only to get ideas and look at news every once in a while. Because the people there are just terrible people. Not all of them, but the ones who replied to that one thread, They could all just go jump off a bridge. R/Japan life, where any possibility of a desire to do anything traditional turns you into a weeaboo. You then get treated like a fox near aristocrats. What? Turned into a stole? Don't go in r/Smash Bros. Unless you play the game competitively. The amount of elitism found there is ridiculous. I just float around as Kirby and then randomly down B. I'm sure they'll love me there. The first 5 years of my Smash career involved this. I felt like it was an optimal strategy. R/Vor. That's one of the friendliest subreddits ever. Yep, Whoosh is right. I even know that the sub is. I'm ashamed. It's possible you missed the joke. I don't know the joke. This happens a lot in niche subreddits once they reach a certain size/AIDS. It seems like an in-crowd develops that will downvote anything that disagrees with their agenda. The first sub I found like this was r/wedding planning. Certain topics like tiered guest lists, or cash bars, or having a courthouse wedding, and then a formal ceremony later on, send the regulars there into a frenzy. Generally, because those are against etiquette, tiered guest lists imply to a guest that they're not as important as another person. Like a second choice, cash bars are considered rude because people are already buying a gift, visiting, possibly staying in a hotel, traveling, taking time off work, and getting dressing clothes. Having them pay for their booze at a hosted party sounds rude. As for the courthouse wedding, I don't think anyone is really against it. Most of the brides that ask about the situations are fed up with planning and family drama and just want to get it over with, which most brides experience. Most of them, however, would have regretted ditching their bigger ceremony and advised to step back from planning and rethink what kind of ceremony they want after the stress has died down. I had a stint as a vegetarian, and I found that r/vegetarian could be pretty brutal. I went vegetarian as a health challenge, not for any ethical reason. If you aren't on the full eating animals is wrong crusade, prepare for the downvotes. I can see that. I recently muted someone that I follow on Twitter because they kept posting lots of vegetarian stuff and stuff about politics. I don't like to follow people who consistently talk about their problems, politics. Actually, those are the only two things. I don't like to follow people who talk about their problems or politics or religion. Either ones. Even if I agree with them politically or religiously, I don't want to hear about it. So I usually either unfollow them, or if I don't want to unfollow them because I know them, I'll just turn off their feed like I've done on Facebook for a couple of people. And the person I followed on Twitter was doing like the holy trifecta. They were constantly posting about their problems, constantly posting about politics, and constantly posting about why eating meat is wrong. Like, yes, I get it. I know it's wrong. I enjoy them anyway. Cows are delicious. Bacon is the best. I'm not giving it up. I'm not going to try to justify it. I know that those poor animals have their own lives, but they just taste so delicious. So yeah, stupid vegetarian. That just reminded me of the person I recently had to mute. R/firearms. They love guns and shooting, but they'll comb through your post history to make sure you've never posted about using illegal drugs. Federal U.S. law prevents users of drugs from possessing firearms, although other countries don't have similar laws, and Reddit is not an American website. R/firearms also has very high standards for quality firearm photography. When new users post pictures of firearms, they better hope they have in focus and properly exposed pictures, or else their post is going nowhere. R/guns is worse. Unless you explicitly state that you're a newbie and genuinely curious about something, you'll get torn apart. I feel bad sometimes when I see people like that because we all had to start somewhere. I'll do my best to answer questions, but they're usually driven away long before that. R/4chan. It gets ugly in there. They're true to their namesake, I take it. r/destructive readers. So here's the rule on leeching. In order to submit any piece of writing, you need to first submit a critique of your own of the same length. Except if your critique is anything lackluster, you'll be ripped apart from other critiquers and moderators. It's a hypocritical logic, but I guess it does help add content to the sub, which is important. Still, it's extremely irritating to get 5 PMs from people yelling about your first critique was terrible or incorrect. Well, aren't they just offering advice on how to improve critiques? That's a good thing. The critiques can be from amateurs because it's a valid perspective, but it can only help to make the person give more exciting and helpful critiques. League of Legends can be pretty toxic, so it pretty much reflects the game. Unresolved mysteries. Mention John Bennett Ramsey and see how fast people lose their shit. Holy fuck. R/fitness can be relentlessly judgmental, even to those with years of experience with weight training, cardio, nutrition. It seems as if everyone is dogmatic about their own beliefs and pet training methods. But when it comes to any conflicting views, subscribers are closed-minded and brutal. R/creepy. I wouldn't be surprised if everyone who's visited the board hasn't been banned for posting too spooky for me without reading that's against the rules. That should be the only comment allowed. I've been a long-time lurker of r/flying. A lot of people there are great, but there is one mod who's pretentious dingus to almost anyone who posts questions that he deems are stupid and shouldn't be asked, especially people who are afraid of flying. He frequently tells these people that they have a mental illness, like how is being that big of an asshole even productive? That alone makes me not want to post there or ask any questions at all about getting a PPL. In terms of not getting game spoils, I say r/Undertale. R/Squared Circle. It's a pro wrestling sub. There's specific things, people, events, etc. that you have to be aware of, or your posts and comments will be buried and mocked. Even a comment such as, I like Sheamus, in a thread titled, Who do you like, will get massively downvoted.